buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one makes countries. Lie to your face, fight and die. Cause God will give. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slide, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. See their shit, force a bear. Fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one leaves countries. Lie to your face, fight and die, cause God forgives. Yeah, coming back around again.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is Game On. It is, let's see, what is it? It's December the 22nd, 2015, and we are on the right side of the year because we just passed our shortest day of the year yesterday, and so now the days are going to get longer and hopefully brighter each day. Anyways, I'm going to bring my guest in right away. My guest tonight is Vince Easley. Really good guy, intelligent guy, knows his stuff. And we're just going to have this conversation for the next hour. And as soon as I find him, I am going to bring him into the show. There he is. And here comes Vince. And I love this picture. He's got his puppy with him. And hopefully we'll hook up. Are you there, Vince?
Yeah, be right back.
Oh, okay. Vince has gone away for a bit, but he's coming back, so that's all well and good. I myself just got home a few minutes ago.
Okay, sorry about that. I had the player
going. You there, Vince?
Yay, Ron. Sorry about that. I had the player going. I had to go kill it real quick.
Well, that's fine. I just actually got home myself a few minutes ago, so got a bit of a rush here. So how you keeping?
Doing good. Yeah. Got out this afternoon, did a couple hours on radio earlier today, and got out and had a little walk down the road and up and down the hills and back. Way out here in the country, amongst country folks. Kind of like out there in Bunkerville. Good country people out there. They've got values like America used to express, you know.
Where, Bunkerville?
Yep, in Bunkerville, Nevada, by Mesquite.
Yeah.
8 miles near north of Vegas.
Yeah, I actually spent a little bit of time. I didn't spend a lot of time looking at that thing. I kind of figured out what was going on there. But I spent an hour or so last night looking at the whole scenario out there. And I always feel sometimes a better look at it after the fact than while it's going on. And some of the things that I found really interesting about it, it seems like the DHS out there, I think that's what they're called, right? DHS? That was causing the problems for the Bundy people?
BLM, Bureau
of Land. BLM, right, yeah.
BLM. Hired thugs and hired cowboys, so-called cowboys. I think they've been demoted and can never be called cowboy again after working for the government.
They're the Bureau of Land Management, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and it's the same thing here. We have it called different here, but it's the same crap going on. And you know, when I got looking deeper into it, it really didn't seem to have anything to do with the cattle. Really at all. You know, it had to do with more of outside interests looking at the land there for whatever reason to either expropriated and or turn it into a commercial goal with wind farms or solar panel farms or whatever, or water extraction. That seemed to be what the biggest problem was, and we have that problem everywhere. They're moving the people off the land. They want them off the land into the cities, and that's the take I got on it yesterday. Anyways, when I was looking, could be wrong.
I found this quote thanks to Meisterbrow over in Real Liberty Media Chat. We got some listeners over there tonight, and a lot of folks that I met out there. A lot of people that I got a great deal of respect for, American heroes. I found this thanks to him, but anyways, it sums it up pretty good. It says that it is my belief that the federal government was there to incite violence and to create a situation of politically motivated violence, and in turn call out people who take the rights of man seriously as domestic terrorists. Do you believe the BLM and the federal government were inciting violence, or is this any question in your mind that this was not politically motivated violence? I mean, the federal government was pointing guns at American citizens, right? And people came and responded. I just see Thomas Robert Lockevar Stewart. He was there. Great guy. You know what? People from alternative media showed up out there. I met a lot of good folks there. I got a cousin in Vegas. Well, married my cousin, and he was there. He had an old, it was like a 19, I don't remember, World War I carbine, and he carried it out there. Met my buddy John. I don't know. He must be still out on his trap line. I was hoping he was going to be able to call, but I talked to him Sunday, and he was headed out on a trap line, so he may not be back in. Out there in Gold Butte region, I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of square miles. There's a huge different economic zones through there, or not economic, I'm sorry. Yeah, but that's what they're trying to turn it into. But beautiful, beautiful country out there. And you know that, but the most part, you know, Nevada, all those western states are a whole lot of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles of desert.
Yeah.
Now, the BLM come along and they say, well, you know, maybe we can get a little more money somewhere else, right? And there's the story on with Harry Reid and all his son, and the guy he got appointed to a judgeship. I think it was Supreme Court or something. But anyways, all tied in to just nothing but purity scandal. So they come up with the idea that the desert tortoise was endangered, and that these cows out there were you know, being detrimental. Now let me tell you about since somewhere about 1850, you know, that family line has been out there, generations working that land and improving it, and they've built microclimate there, or ecosystems, I think is the word I'm looking for there. Animal life thrive. Where the cow's not out there browsing that grass down, it'd just be old dead clump of grass and not fit for nothing. Eating it down, it grows back. The tortoise benefited, bighorn sheep, the wild burro, any number of other animals, including prey animals of coyote, bobcat, mountain lion, any number of animals that live along the river, otters and beaver. The land and the animal wildlife is vastly improved. Their living situation made a whole lot better. And anybody thinks that you know, working daylight to dark, can to can't, and if they're not entitled to reap some rewards of their hard labor upon the land, and we're talking about, first of all, LDS families, Mormons, they usually have big families, and that it's a lot of family members working that farm. So we're talking a lot of blood and sweat, and I imagine there's been a tear or two shed along the way. It took a lot to put in that, and they're growing melons. These are people that are on the land, and I've got nothing but respect for them. I stand with the Bundys. I spent a lot of time out there. I was back and forth. I set my camp there, and I observed a lot of people. I took a lot of videos and interviews. You know, I'm not a professional. You know, some of the videos you hear the wind whipping in, and you know, I was interviewed on news, made the cover of the AP photograph, and went around the world up there on stage with the Sheriff Gillespie, the coward, and the great hero, American hero, Clive Bundy. He stood He stood up in a time when he was the last man standing, the last rancher out there. They never run everybody out of business. They drove up how much it cost to run cattle, how much per unit, per section. I really have to thank you. I see you there. I appreciate it. Welcome, listeners from my friends from Facebook, from UCY.TV, from Real Liberty Media World Truth. And everybody that I met out there, I got a pretty good response. I posted this. We're going to broadcast today. So, like I said, the Bundys and almost every person out there I met was nothing but good, honest folks, and they were there for the right reasons. We all have a little different motivation, a little different idea how government and stuff ought to work, but it's the resistance of the tyranny that is in our face that is against each and every one of us. And for that, I salute each and every one of those fine folks that came there and stood in the gap between and willing to lay down their life.
Well, one of the interesting things I found, Vince, when I was reading was that
part of my life that I'll never forget, and I was glad to be alone.
Yeah, like one of the things that I found interesting was Mr. Bundy's.
Leonard Filler can go, can he? So listen, I've got a lot of videos. If you want to see the honest face of the folks that was out there, you can go to my YouTube. There's a lot of people that shot a lot of videos. There's a lot of good stuff out there. And what I'm going to do is go over here and I'm going to grab my channel just to drop over into two different chats there. It is What Matters, Vince Easley videos there on YouTube. And there's a bunch of them. I got Larkin Rose I met in Vegas. Had the honor of meeting him, another hero. You know, I count a lot of heroes, especially of people I've met here in social media, and I've gone a long ways. Okay, now I'm not distracted so much. There we go. Find some videos right there. If you're in chat, and I'm going to put that over on World Truth as well. Did you make it back yet, Ron?
Yeah. But I mean, did you? I saw when I was watching some videos and stuff.
So, anyways, I'm hoping maybe somebody call in. Got the lines forwarded. Some folks was out there. Maybe Stephen Brooks. Thank you, by the way. Talk about a deck start. I had the date today is the 12th. 12/12 instead of 12/22. So, yeah. He dropped me an inbox there and asked me if it was he or me that was a little off, and I'm pretty sure I'm a little more than off. There's Ron back, I believe. Hey, Ron.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Something screwed up here. Am I not?
So, well, let me just tell you a little background then. So. I was in Vegas, and I heard the call out for people to come and stand in the gap. One person was responsible for the main call out, and then it spread far and wide. And I put in over at a Facebook group that transportation, and I said I was looking to ride up with somebody. Bill Napoli, good man, brother. He called me up and says, "Hey, I'm headed that way, and I'll meet you, and we'll ride on up." So away we went in. I throwed my camping gear in the back of his truck. I'd been down doing some very good camping down in Quartzsite, Arizona, and up along Lake Mojave, and up around through past the Colorado River there. And there I met Jay Jones, interviewed her, another American hero, facing in the face of oppression, that standing up, and it takes a lot of sometimes, and it all adds up. So your one little voice is not alone. It all lends together. Hi, Java Doctor, over in Real Liberty Media over there. Side by side I am on UCY.TV. Luke over at UCY says, I can't count the hands on his can't count the hand on his fingers. Okay. No, I can't hear Ron, Mama D.
You can't hear me.
Oh my God, I've been talking over you all this whole time.
You can hear me, right, Vince?
I can now.
Okay, I don't know what's cooking there. Yeah. I don't know. My Skype's been messing up a little bit lately. I don't know if that was a problem or what.
Nope.
Uh,
It's the Dextart over here. I've got this headset on here that I got a bad wiggle in the
oh,
hole of.
okay. No, I was enjoying listening to what you were saying. I tried to jump in a couple times. I think Vince can't hear me, or I'm not on. I don't know what's cooking, but you
Take your
know,
mom and D and chat.
well, yeah. What I was trying to say was that I spent a little bit of time last night going through some videos and whatnot, and reading some pieces on the situation, and you know, one of the things that I saw out there in one of the videos that really made me smile was I saw a sign on a fence somewhere out there that said, you know, mount your moral high horse. And I've been saying that for as long as I can remember, because this is a moral fight, and that's exactly what happened as far as I can see out at the Bundy Ranch when the supporters came out, was that they mounted their high horses, and the BLM had to back down. They didn't have a choice. But I also think that it was a time. I think it was one of the good spots in recent American history. You know, you had Ruby Ridge, you had Waco, you had all these false flags going on, and this seems to be a moment in American history where the American people just said, you know what, this ain't going to happen this time. And they did exactly what they needed to do. And reading about Clive Bundy, or Clive Bundy, was that I really like his attitude towards the federal government, that he doesn't recognize it because it's illegitimate, which it is, and wants to deal with the states instead. And do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do. He said enough's enough, and you know, your livelihood is your life. So when your livelihood is threatened, it's just there wasn't no difference than these illegal actions and put against, as far as I'm concerned, illegal actions, unlawful. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Welcome over to UCY, Cowboy Tech. Glad to have you. Yeah. It's the same thing as what they did, and actually pointed guns. Now, I told you this before, and you got a good chuckle of it. But so after being up there and filming on the wagon there that was turned into a stage, Cliven said, "You got 1 hour now to lay down your guns and release my cows." And so an hour came and went, just like that song, Leonard. I really appreciate all what you've done. If you've seen it, I posted earlier that the Battle of Bunkerville by Wiley Freeman. Now he is a little self-conscious on that video, and he thought, since he kind of stuttered a little bit, that maybe that it wasn't worthy of being watched. Now it is, and it really says a lot of words. And so an hour coming past, and they said, "Boys, let's load up and go release them cows." And away we went down, and boy, there was a lot of us, and got down there and shut the interstate down, overpass, a cut over right there, right before where the wash comes out under the interstate. They had the cows pinned up in there. Killed 2 of his prize bulls. Killed a lot of cows out there, run them in a hard roundup. You know, them fellas in the government hired, they ain't no cowboys. They had no, they didn't have the heart of a cowboy. I'm going to tell you that right now. So Luke said, "I'm channeling Mark Twain." Well, I guess that's a good compliment. Thank you. He stood like, and a lot of people, you know, I think had been waiting for somebody to make that stand. And that stand, that call was put out, and people come. There was thousands of people that come through there, and hundreds that day right there. I don't know how many, but there was a lot. Several hundred people. That says a lot right there. And they went beyond that. They went on up into Utah, and they challenged the BLM up there. They're siding with the Hammonds up in Oregon. They're going to put that old man in prison for the rest of his life because he burned 16 acres of grass. And what harm was that anyways? It would have been an improvement to boot. So Let me make sure I'm not lost my mic again here, Ron. Are you?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So, where do we go from there then?
Well, I'm just I kind of looked at this stuff and I saw Cliven had made a comment about black people or Negroes or something, and this just killed me because his statement was actually a pretty innocent statement, and the media used that to try to hang the man. And when I was reading, that the conservatives were all behind Cliven until he made the statements about the Negro or the black people or whatever. And if you really listen to the statement, it was quite an innocent statement. And then they used that to try to morally hang the man or something, right? Which I found very disturbing.
My good friend Jason Patrick spent a lot of time out there. He was out there media covering that too, alternative media, and he shot that video. It was a very long interview with Mr. Bundy, and they took and pulled it out of context. And actually, I don't know if once you put your content out there, but if you was to try to put up a CNN video or something, maybe and claim it as your own, and I don't know how all that works, but anyways, I'll sum it up. And I was interviewed on Channel 3, Antonio. He got attacked, and there was a couple of people involved in trying to. I watched them. I seen it coming, and I'll tell you what. I'm a poker player, man. I can read it. I see what's coming, and they tried to incite violence and attack Antonio. But anyways, he had interviewed me, and I'm going to say just like I told him. Well, I'll back up and I'll say this. I worked for a man out in Southern California back in the 80s, last half of the 80s, tree trimmer, and he'd call black folks, and so I don't know if you say African Americans, politically correct now or whatever. I say black folks, white folks, whatever. But anyways, he'd call black folks colored. And every time he'd say, this colored man, I'd say, what color is he? And he never caught on. He would say, he'd always say, oh, he was black. And I'd say, oh, okay. So to say colored or black boy or even if you got down in some parts of the Deep South and they said negro or whatever, they're all just words, and they're just all typical of either a geographical location or era and time. Like me saying icebox instead of refrigerator. Now, I didn't have an icebox as a kid. When I was young, there in Arkansas, my grandpa's, we did. Or I remember when the toilet got put in the house, we'd go out to the outhouse. But nonetheless, refrigerator was still called an icebox. And so it's nothing but semantics, and they tried to blow it up. And Cliven Bundy said what anybody would agree with. He didn't know if them black folks was any better off today. Comparing that to back in the days of slavery, at least they didn't have the social engineering that has corrupted the neighborhoods into a degradation of crime and drugs, and don't think that wasn't made and brought about on purpose to keep the black man shackled. Now, he called it like he seen it. He wasn't telling no lie. We're all slaves, and he made that comparison, and very seldom have I seen any of the mainstream point that out.
No, it was really pathetic because they took. I listened to what he said, and what he said made perfect sense. But then, he said, black men should have stayed as slaves, right? And they blew that completely out of proportion, just the way they blew the cattle thing out of proportion, just about the way they blew the thing about, his cattle will be out there stepping on turtles or something and wrecking turtles. They did everything in their power to demean this gentleman, and I think that may have had a whole lot to do with the response that took place. I mean, the people are so sick of this one-sided paradigm, and it's been going on long enough that people are going, this is just more bull. They're trying to run another guy off his land, and we better, we're Americans. Let's go and stand up to him. And You know, it must have been an amazing thing to be out there. I have to say that. It must have been a very encouraging, amazing thing to be there.
I was proud too, and I was telling the story and redirected myself somewhere. But when we got there to the interstate, shut down traffic. A lot of people, as they were finally got it to one lane of passing to traffic, a good number of people was saluting us and cheering us on and saying about time. Every once in a while, somebody would come through and say, "Thanks a lot for causing the traffic jam."
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's not the destination. You always remember it is the journey along the way, and the most important part of that is all those people there were standing up for the right for every American, and beyond that for what America is supposed to stand and represent to the world. And unfortunately, we've got traitors and cowards in high places from top to bottom, and as Shakespeare said. And I'm against the death penalty, but it's hard to disagree when he said hang the lawyers. That's
Well,
about most of it.
we were talking about that day when we were working on the house. You know, it doesn't matter how you go about this. I mean, back in the 1200s, the people got the idea of what the problem was, and they went on the common people got it and said, you know, the whole problem here that we're having is the lawyers and the judges. They're the ones that are creating the problems through their papers and that. And they went on a rampage, and the idea was they intended to kill every lawyer and judge they found. Now, I'm not advocating death to anybody, but the fact of the matter is that the lawyers and the bankers run the nation. It is not the politicians, and these are schemers and greedy people, and they're legal by definition as an amoral position. And that's what I keep saying. The moral people should have no problem overcoming the amoral society, or not so much the society, but what runs the society. We should have no problem overcoming that, because moral will always stand above amoral. And what I saw at the Bundy Ranch was just a gathering of caring, moral people who said, this isn't going to work for you people anymore, right? We're standing ground, and we're not moving. And somebody has to back down, and we're not it, because we're on the moral side of this game, and you're on the amoral side. So go away. And they did. And I find that absolutely amazing. And I hope the American people, I hope the people around the world understood exactly how important the activity at the Bundy Ranch actually was. Right? I hope they get it.
Yeah, Meister Brow, that was Ron speaking right there. Ron Stevens, he does this weekly, Tuesdays and Thursdays and Sundays here on UCY.tv. Saturday night we simulcast Canada Live. Ron's up in Canada. He's pretty much along the same lines as Hal Anthony. And Will Roberts, they've come to the same understanding of the way the world is and how it's against us, and those tools used against us, and understanding the system itself and how that is against us. Welcome, Becky. I see you in chat. I'm glad you made it. I think Julieta is listening as well. I don't see her in chat, but she may just be listening along. So, welcome, everybody. This is Side by Side over here with Real Liberty Media. We have, I set that to the show now, and so all our chatters at Real Liberty Media are listening in at UCY.tv, right there to the left, channel 24. Glad y'all are tuned in, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to be able to tell my story. So here's a question for me. It says, remember that, I better read it before I say that now. Remember that dweeb Fox News reporter that waved the flag? Do you think that was disgusting in a photo op? I seen you on your story, or you were talking about that earlier. Would you have had his back? I wouldn't have. No, there's a difference. There were some glory seekers there, for certain. And I've decided not to speak any names just for accountability right now. But I seen a lot. Believe me, I didn't miss much. Now, me and Jason Patrick, the fellow that shot that video about the so-called Cliven being a racist, He and I were out there about 3 o'clock in the morning. We were talking and outside the trailer up on top of the hill at the marshalling yard there. Well, I guess I'll call it the marshalling yard. But anyways, so unbeknownst to us, Eamon Bundy was inside there, and he'd been listening to us talk for quite a while. And he come out and he started talking to us, and he says, "Brothers, I've been listening to you," and he says, "I'm real proud to hear what I'm hearing." And it's, we're going to have to watch for these instigator troublemakers, because we all know that anytime you get a gathering of folks like that, they send folks in there to disrupt it, and they did. And I tell you, I seen it happen, and it was definitely tried to incite violence. But I'm going to back up to the interstate again. So we all get up there. Wait a minute, Master. I'll come back to your question again. Just a sec. So I get up there, and I said, well, and my brother made me a little calligraphy sign, wrote on there, media. And I crossed that interstate, and I approached them cops, the highway patrols there directing traffic. I said, I've got questions. They said, well, come on. So, you're right, German. And I ain't kidding you. I walked up there, and I lifted my shirt, and I turned around. I started walking to that line of cops up there. And I seen one gal that works there. She's in the same district there, or whatever you called it there. My cousin in Vegas, he's a cop. That's another story. Those people, they're thinking they're doing their job. I ain't holding nothing against the cops. As a matter of fact, I think I heard you say it, Ron. They're brothers and sisters, and so proper communication is essential, especially when you're walking up to a line of armed men. And I ain't kidding you. I was shaking like a dog shit in taxi, and I ain't afraid to tell you. And I said I had questions. About that time, somebody hollered out, they got them pinned down under the bridge. And everybody fled down. It's good, pretty near a half mile or so, I reckon, down there. And folks went down and got down there in the wash and stood in a big long line with them cowboys and advanced on that the locked gate with the cowards behind it. Well, maybe they weren't cowards, but I think it was. And then if you don't realize what I'm saying, then you need to stop and think about just orders. They said that somewhere else in Nuremberg trials. I don't think that flew. So when it comes time to start killing people, American people or anybody else, anywhere else in the world, you need to stop and ask yourself, who am I doing this for? And am I really protecting the American way of life, or I'm supporting a corporatocracy that wants more of my blood, sweat, and tears than that of my children and their children, and indebting them for the rest of their lives? Your dollar ain't worth 2 cents, and that's literally not worth 2 cents in the value. These people that run the government are the same crony descendants of those that established the Federal Reserve and all the other that which is against us in this war. Well, yeah, there is a war against us, and you think that it's just a war against these is people over there? No, they were created by these same people that are in power now, seats of decision. These evil people that would not give you a quarter for a cup of coffee had they passed you on the street. They would do away with soup lines when it comes. These people have nothing but greed. All they want is death and destruction, and that is their religiosity, is order out of chaos, and that's an age-old idiom that don't fly, and you need to figure it out if you don't know already, and I suspect most people listening do know.
Yeah, I really think it's the rural areas that are more attuned to what's going on than the people in the city. I really truly do, and we need to understand, just like you're saying, that this is all like a family compact, and they don't give a rat's behind about you or your family or your situation. All you have to do is look back in history. It's repeated over and over and over again. So who's that leave left? It leaves us. And the beauty of it is that this time, it's been tried before throughout history, where people rose up against their slave masters, basically, and were beaten down. But this is an era where information flies fast. And I am an absolute believer that this time we're going to push them back and we're going to win. And I do believe we're supposed to win. And like you have such a conviction, Vince. And because you've been in different situations throughout your life, and you've seen things, your eyes are wide open, and you made it up to the Bundy Ranch, and you saw what people can accomplish when they put their minds to it, and that's got to be really uplifting. I would think that what happened at the Bundy Ranch, I hope everybody in America paid special attention to that, because that is the answer. Now, a question you may or may not know, two questions to you, Vince, because you were up there. First of all, when did this happen as far as the confrontation went? I think it was, I don't know, it was Bundy's daughter got tasered, and their son maybe, or somebody had the dogs at them out in the highway somewhere.
That is what had happened there. These BLM folks went up and had come up. They were coming back down with a dump truck and a backhoe, and Hammond decided he'd like to inspect what was up in the bed of that truck, because he suspected maybe they killed some of his cows and was hauling them off. What had happened, they'd been up there and they tore down a water tank that had been there. So a water tank is, that pumps some water up out of the ground and then flows into the tank, and that water leaks off, and you got a little puddle on the ground. You got lizards licking up some water now and then, or whatever. But from mice to men, everybody benefited there. So he wanted to look inside that truck, and they wasn't having none of it. So the confrontation began there. They tasered him. I believe it was his aunt that was knocked to the ground with cancer, little old frail lady. Another woman was pregnant. She was stoned to the ground. I mean, this was jackbooted thuggery against people demanding that they to know if they were being violated in their property, their livelihood, their very life. Meisterbout, let me back up to your question you had earlier. You want to know if there's infiltration by the feds into the Bundys? No. Buddha Bundy, he was the main security for the Bundy family. Good, honest man in integrity. And you know what? I think he took a lot of life lessons from living with the Bundys. And I'm going to tell you what, they are the salt of the earth and good folks. I can't say nothing bad about none of them. And like I said, I sit around there a long time. Spend a lot of time right there observing, and that's what I'm good at. I observe people. It's been a hobby, a passion, whatever of mine for most of my life, understanding folks, and that's just something I do. So I trust my judgment. I jokingly say I'm the smartest person I know, because I know so many smart folks, that know a lot of things, and I've got a pool of knowledge that I can go draw on, and in the same fashion in my study of what is in this world, and what it encompasses. An understanding of human behavior and how we've been social engineered is a part of that. So I trust my judgment, absolutely. Anybody that knows me, I think they probably can tell you that I have integrity.
Well, you certainly sound like a gentleman with a lot of integrity, and that's what we have to spread, right? We people have lost their way so badly, man. It's just, but at the same token, people are. I have no doubt in my. 4 years ago, I thought, are people ever going to wake up? I mean, it was ridiculous, and even over the last 2 years, 1 year, 6 months. As outfits like the BLM and the different government agencies we have here in Canada, as they push harder and harder and harder and try to steal what we built and sell it off to offshore entities, or cut a deal with some corporation to benefit themselves, the politicians, lawyers, bankers, whatever. people are being hurt in greater and greater numbers. More and more people are having a hard time keeping a roof over their house. More and more people are having a hard time keeping clothes on the back of their kids or keeping them fed. And I think this is going a long ways to wake up the general public that this so-called benefactor, the government, isn't what they've convinced people that they are. And I think people are starting to understand that it's only the people that matter. And if the government is not going to abide by the wishes of the people, then the people pretty much have a duty to change things. And I absolutely, that's why I love the Bundy story so much, because you know that the BLM was up there trying to incite violence. They were trying to suck those that went up to support the Bundy family into violence, because that's all they can work with. And they tried their damnedest to spark a situation that would turn into a problem. And I listened to a few people that were up at the farm or in the area up there, and the whole answer was all the time is, we're not firing first, right? You can't get us to fire first. And I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons at the Bundy Ranch, and that is that we know right from wrong, and we know what you're trying to do, and we're not going to let you do it. Right? You can't suck us into getting into a violent confrontation, because then you can spin it on the airwaves and turn the American people against the very people they should be supporting. So, in that sense, the Bundy Ranch, to me, or Bunkerville, that's a cool name. Bunkerville was an absolute huge and necessary success for the American people.
Yeah, cleverly coined the Battle of Bunkerville. Hey, there's Osborne likes my post, the Bundy Ranch story. I was there. Thank you. Let me go. I'm gonna click on that. Who she is. I did get a lot of folks here and others that I don't know. So this will go archive up to YouTube, and I'll add that to the edit for the folks that didn't get a chance to come and listen live. There's some great names right here. The first three, Dennis Ford, Bill Napoli. He's the great brother of mine that carried me out yonder. Dodie Jones, she made it out there. At-large host here, also at UCY.TV. There's Delight, she's in chat. Austin Thomas, Joan Lewis, tireless activist. There's Miner Dave, Stephen Brooks. Man, I think he learned some great valuable life lessons also. The Bundys give him a job out there. I still didn't give him. He had a job. You don't give a job, I don't reckon. There's the fourth. And there is Miss Osborne. And I can't pronounce that first name. And on down the line of the list. Lots of these folks I don't even know right here. This just tells you how much this gravitates, folks, to this that we were a part of, and like I said, very proud to have been a part of that.
Now, Vince, the Bundy deal was in 2014, right?
Yeah, it was.
2014. Now,
2 years ago, April 12th was the day. Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if you're keeping up with what's going on out there, but my question really is. They had the standoff and the BLM backed down and went away, but they never go away completely. So I'm just kind of curious, if are they still circling the place or trying to suck them in some kind of negotiation or something, or have they completely just left the Bundy family alone?
I'll guarantee that people are vigilant. And people are waiting for the call, if it comes, to come right back there to it. There is a call for the Hammonds up in Oregon right now, too. I can't give you the specifics on the legality of where that case stands, but they did back down, and I think that they're probably not, the feds ain't probably wanting to push this issue, because it was I don't know how close it was, but it was very close that could have erupted into a whole different situation. And that goes back to the conversation Jason and I were having outside that Ammon Bundy was listening in on and come out and join in on. We've got to be vigilant and watch for those people that are there to incite that, because I'm very surprised that there wasn't a shield or whatever you call them, just somebody to fire that first shot to get that ball rolling and watch people die to kick it off. But had that happened, people would have rose up in arms across the country, and I think it would have happened. And I'm not favoring violent revolution by any means, but I think that it would have kicked off so big that it wouldn't have been no turning back. That's my opinion.
Well, that could be why one of the reasons they backed down is they sat down and they looked at, if we get shooting at these folks, how's this going to turn out for us? Is it going to spark the next American Revolution or that? So there's a good possibility that BLM stood down because they were told to stand down because this could really backfire on us.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the bigger decisions, and they backed down too. They backed up like scared little rabbits.
Well, they are scared little rabbits because they're pencil necks, and they're not real men as far as I'm concerned. They're bureaucrats, and bureaucrats do not fall into the realm of real man where I come from. But another question for you, because you're so involved in it. I saw a couple of video clips last night with Sheriff Mack involved in it. Now, he seemed to really be quite vocal about the lack of the sheriffs up the Bundy way and the Politico up that way for not getting involved more.
There was a lot of great men and women, leaders in position of seats of decision that showed up. Michelle Fiore, Sheriff Rogers from, I believe, in Indiana, Sheriff Mack. There were a lot of people who showed up, different organizations that some people might have contention with, or certain persons. But I'll not judge the heart of their actions. I do know that with them being there, it brought more credibility as far as I'm concerned, as it being a legitimate redress to grievances. And when it comes down to the Second Amendment, a lot of people say if you got to come down to that point, then it's probably too late. So perhaps in this instance right here, one might beg the question that it was just in time.
Yeah, like you're in Arkansas, right?
Yes.
Now that's a fair ways from Nevada, right?
Yeah, it's about 1,460 miles to Los
Angeles. Yeah. So now you take a place like Arkansas. It's only got a small population. I think the population of Arkansas is around 5 million or something. And this is the same problems going on around the world. The same actors are causing the same problems regardless of where you live. But are you seeing much of a difference, say, from 3-4 years ago in the attitude of the people as far as they're starting to ask more intelligent questions and looking for answers than you did, say, 3-4 years ago?
I thought I was on mute. I was over here typing in the search. Sorry about that. And it didn't come up. Sorry. Well, I'd answer that by saying most people, like anywhere else, they're busy. Their lives are busy trying to make a living and live. And when you're forced to work and being extorted, at 98% of that don't even count taxes. From 1913 to now, 2% buying power of the dollar. So when you're there trying to provide for your family and live the American dream, a lot of times people don't have time for anything else. They don't see. They get home. The weekends they want to go play with their toys. In the evenings they want to relax after a long hard day. toiling away for the slave master. Not get the whip all the time, but I'll tell you what, if you step out of line too many places, you will get a whip or a bullet. And it's like I heard Michelle Fiore say it first time, governance at gunpoint. I know she didn't originate that. I'll come back to you, Meister Ralph. Governance at gunpoint is not acceptable. But most people are, like I said, they're there in their life and they're trying to be happy. And with the social engineering, the propaganda that's rammed down our throat, you can't call somebody a sheeple or a sleep, because we're all sheeple. We're all in the same pen, and we sometimes fight to keep the other sheep out on the other side of the fence and build a fence that's stronger. The fact is that the American way, what is thought of as the American way, is for truth and justice, right? I had a judge tell me one time he wasn't there, not one bit interested in justice, but the letter of the law. And I called him a black dog to his face right there, and I said, won't you just get me a room upstairs and I'll settle in.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I was over in court yesterday because I just went over to support some folks I know over there who are in the milk business, who have been harassed for the last 21 years, and they were in court, and I was sitting in the court watching what was going on, and it really it's quite bizarre, and I've had to go to court off and on for stuff, but it was so bizarre, and there was a Crown sitting across this courtroom. And I was sitting at the front of the courtroom with a friend, and who was trying to get a hold of some disclosure, and I know this gentleman, this Crown attorney. He does both federal and provincial, would be federal and state where you live. And I'd had a run-in with this guy in the past, and we're sitting across the courtroom from each other, and I kept looking at him till we made eye contact, and he's staring at me, and it just seemed appropriate that in the middle of the courtroom, in the middle of the proceedings, I should raise my arm high and present my middle finger across the courtroom to that particular Crown, and it felt good. But I talk to the police all I can. Even though I've been harassed by them off and on. I just tell them, you are me and I am you, right? Because when you're not in that uniform, you're probably a mother or a father with a family who's got the same problems as every other family, trying to keep a roof over the head, trying to keep your kids on a straight and narrow as best as possible. The education system's totally corrupting your children's minds and whatnot. So, that's why I say I'm non-violent. Unless you get it really in my face, and then it's going to change real quick. And that's what I saw at the Bundy Ranch. We're nonviolent. Don't push it. And we're all in this together, and we all have a role to play in fixing it, because it's really it's really broken. Our societies are really broken, and there's so many people suffering, and people got to quit looking and saying, well, I'm not affected right now, so I'll just look the other way. That's not how we're going to fix this. We have got to come together, and we have got to get away from this right-left political nonsense. We have got to get away from this racist nonsense. Having said that, the Islamic influx is not by accident. That is brought in specifically as a hopeful on their part to finish off the West by the implementation of Sharia law. But having said that, it's really the leadership. It's the Islamic leadership. It's the governmental leadership. It's the church leadership. These are the problems. Your bar society is obviously a problem. But it's really the people at the top are the problem, and they divide the individual people, the different societies within our societies, they keep us all divided and looking at each other and disliking each other, and that way they can continue to have their way with us. And we really have to look at each other as you know, we you guys live in America, we live in Canada. We have to be the family kind of thing, and we have to take back control of our house. A family who has no control over their house will not survive. And you know, they took our houses, they took our legislatures, they infiltrated, they took over the hen house through the weasels and the foxes. And we have got to drive them from our house, because as long as they control our house, we will continue down this road that we've been on for a very, very long time. And in the end, we will not survive. So, you know, we have to come together and get back the house. And it's as simple as that. And we can do it.
That's a certainty, and we can't be without excuse. Meister Brown, I'm dropping your link over there. We'll never get no more coverage on that before the end of the hour. The Bundy Ranch, the interview I never got by Woodman, and you can find that at macroeconomics.com. And I believe that was written by Meister Brown, one of our Rural Liberty Media chatters. So, anyways, hey, we're coming up to the end of the hour. Let me give you a shout out for coming up here at UCY.tv. Following Game On with Ron Stevens is our Interesting Times with Tim Kelly, followed by our very own Michael and Nick with Primer Time. Guns, 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 pew, 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 by gun bull. Geoengineering Watch follows, and wrapping up tonight is Anti-Media Radio with Mr. S.M. Gibson. So, thanks for having me on, brother.
I got to tell you, Vince, you're a man of an amazing energy, and I enjoyed the hell out of this, and I'm hoping someday, because we have a similar situation over here, but we're not loaded for bear like you guys are down there, but we did have a standoff over here, and the people did come, and they did support, and they did back down the agencies and the police, and actually got them to leave the farm peacefully. The harassment continues. It's been going on for 21 years. They're just organic farmers, never hurt anybody. But I'm hoping that someday that maybe we can get someone like Cliven Bundy and Michael Schmidt, both very moral, honest, good, hard-working men, together. I would love to have these two guys have a conversation together someday. It would really make my life. So and again, I just want to thank you, Vince. It's been just I just got home. I was really tired, and I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I mean, thanks for doing the show. I really, really appreciate it. And
this is one I've looked forward to for some time. We got our own heroes right here. You included some fine folks here in chat. Jules, Mega Jules, UCY.tv, Grammy, World Truth, Grimner, Real Liberty Media. We got folks that are coming together, and I say let's stand together. In spite of our diversity, we can find our strength. Thanks, Ron.
That's absolutely true. Thank you very much, Vince. I really appreciate it. And to all the listeners, the chatters, those that came in with Vince, I really appreciate that from the different networks and that. And we will be back here on Thursday night, which I guess is Christmas Eve. So till then, everybody have a great night, and take care, and we'll see you Thursday night. Okay? We're out.
Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower class and social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit